Hi, my name is Mikayla Watts,
And I'm Sarah Page.
and this is our poster presentation on What Does the Dirt Say? An analysis of soil carbon on Meredith College's campus. Meredith College's campus is filled with multiple soil types containing different organic matter levels. By collecting data on the soil and categorizing it, a determination can be made as to which soil type was the best for absorbing water. Soil organic matter makes up soil aggregates, which increases water absorption of the soil. Meredith College presented the idea of obtaining OM levels across campus to better allocate materials. Ascertaining soil carbon levels in relation to percent moisture content can be useful information regarding landscaping and management of our campus. Our main research question was which categorized area will have the best soil carbon levels and what type of soil is it in that area with Meredith College as a case study. So we had three areas: maintained, which was anything that's been undisturbed for 50 plus years, forest, which is any tree filled area, and grass, which is anything that's been disturbed in the past 50 years and isn't tree filled. So these were pretty broad categories that we created, and we added in other variables like proximity to water and slope. Our hypothesis was that maintained areas will have higher percent organic matter, and therefore soil with higher organic matter will have higher percent moisture.
So next, just to take you through what our methods were, first we figured out which plot locations we were interested in sampling from, and then we categorized each area with that categorization from above, forest or maintained or grass. And then we went ahead and we collected 6 samples from each plot, about 4 to 6 inches in depth, and we stored all of our samples in the refrigerator once we had taken those samples to preserve the moisture content. For each location, we ground up about 18 grams of soil with a mortar and pestle and removed any roots or rocks or anything that might throw off our results. We put roughly 10 grams of the ground soil into weighing dishes and baked them in the oven at 105 degrees Celsius for at least 48 hours. Before we had put them in the oven, we weighed them, and then we weighed them immediately when we took them out of the oven. And that kind of gave us an idea of the moisture content for each of the different locations that we were sampling from. We then placed samples in the muffle furnace so those same samples, in the muffle furnace for 4 hours at 500 degrees Celsius, and that completely burns away the organic matter. So we had those samples weighed before we put them in that muffle furnace. We weighed them again afterwards, and that gave us the idea of what the amount of organic matter was inside of each sample. Then we filtered each of these samples that were now completely devoid of any organic matter through a series of sieves that were at different sizes, and that let us categorize the results into, we had gravel percentages, sand percentages, and then silt/clay percentages for each different location that we had sampled from. We then classified our results on the soil with using the figure 1 from the results section into 5 of 12 available soil types by drawing a straight line from each percent. So we did this next part in QGIS. We basically created an attribute table that we called sampling points, and we color coded a little map. So basically on the map, you can look and see the different types of soil and various locations that they're from. So then to take you kind of over to our results, we were really interested in the relationships between different percentages. So we compared, first of all, our percent organic matter with our percent moisture, kind of just overall from our different sampling points. And we found like a weak positive association between that. Again, a correlation, but maybe not a strong correlation. We also were interested in comparing our percent moisture levels to see, like, with different percentages of gravel, sand, clay, those different soil types. We did not find any association between gravel percent and moisture percent, but we did find a weak positive association between sand percent and moisture percent, and a weak negative association between percent moisture with percent silt and clay.
Yeah, and we got all of this data from our Excel sheet right in the middle here, which has all of our sample plot numbers as well as the percent moisture, the percent organic matter, and then the classification, whether grass, forest, or maintained. And like Sarah mentioned earlier, we used figure one to draw a line from the silt and the sand percentages, and where the lines touched each other was what the soil type was considered. And we added all of this data into this really cool soil map, where the larger dots are the category, and then the smaller dots are the soil type. As you can see, there was a good bit of sandy clay or sandy clay loam.
So we originally had like a few series of hypotheses. We thought that the OM levels, so organic matter, and plot classifications, we thought that the water and organic matter relationships, and we also thought that there would be a relationship between the effect of slope on moisture and OM content. So we had kind of those different groupings of relationships. So we found that the organic matter hypothesis was supported as more organic matter was present in maintained land areas such as plots 1, 5, 6, and 9. The water organic matter relationship hypothesis was also supported as the areas near water had lower organic matter compared to areas further away from water. Lastly, our hypothesis on percent moisture and organic matter on slopes was not supported. We expected to see a relationship there, and we didn't. But these plots had higher percent moisture content and higher OM levels compared to the other plots that were not located on the slope. So not a relationship, but we did see those higher percentages.
Yeah, and as for future directions, there's a lot of directions that this project could go in, but we are really recommending that there's a continuing monitor of soil content through regular soil testing and looking at the changes in OM composition over time. And we would also be super interested to see an increase in organic matter in plots 8, 10, and 16, as those are three of our lowest. And we recommend increasing composting distribution across campus and organic matter distribution to increase soil carbon levels. And at this time, we'd really just like to acknowledge some of our faculty members and research helpers. So Dr. Meredith Hovis started this project in 2015 in the Meredith Forest, and she really set up the groundwork for us to continue it in the Meredith College campus, like main campus. And we would also like to acknowledge Miss Amanda Powell for always being available to answer any questions that we had and to unlock labs.
We also want to thank Mr. Jeff Waller from the library, who offered us resources for our research. And then we'd also like to thank Aaron Shetler, who outlined a research need and let us take soil samples from the campus. And we want to thank our professor and advisor, Dr. Stutz, for his oversight and support on this project. Thank you very much for watching.